IDLiveTeam.call. This is a great call where we feature either a doctor or a health professional. They're sharing ID Life and Healthy Simplified. So today, this is Darlene Unkelbach, as a matter of fact, with ID Life National Presidential, and I am so super excited to talk about our incredible guest that we're going to have speaking today. She's quite amazing in her own right, and there's nobody better to talk about the cause than Miss Carla Ferrer. She is an ID Life National Presidential Director, and she's also an ID Life Fitness Ambassador here. We're very honored to have her. She's an author, keynote speaker, certified life coach, nutritionist, weight loss expert, a childhood obesity specialist. She's even been interviewed on Fox, ABC, CBS, and yes, even Oprah Winfrey. So that is not even all of what that she has done that's been on her professional resume. And even more than that, we're super excited. She very, very soon is going to be known as Dr. Carla, because she is in the middle of finishing that med school because she just cannot take on enough stuff. She is just passionate. She's one of the hardest working people I know. And truly one of my favorite things about Carla really is her big heart and her deep passion to truly, truly help people. So Miss Carla Ferrer, if you are on the phone, if you will just jump on, and I really would love for you to share your story, your personal story, and really help all of us that are on the call as we jump into 2017. Talk to us a little bit about weight loss and how we get there and how we get our health right, you know, as we're focusing into 2017. So if you would just share that with us and help us get on the right track, we'd love for you to share this morning.
Well, good morning, Darlene, and good morning, ID Life family. I am delighted to be here, and thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. You know, it is such a delight for me every day of my life. I live and breathe health and wellness, and I share ID Life everywhere I go, all day long, every day. The joke has always been if someone's standing within 3 feet of me, they're hearing about the remarkable products and this movement that we have all embarked on. But specific to today's call, I want to share a little bit about my story, and then I'm really going to jump into the meat and bones of how you personally, if you're struggling with weight, whether it's a little or a lot, or someone you care about, and then, of course, more exciting still, we have January 1 coming up, and how you guys can really, if you hang on to what I share today, I guarantee you, I promise you, you will have a most extraordinary month in your business, without question. So, you know, my story and what led to some of the accomplishments that Darlene referenced and many others that I've been blessed to experience started with trauma. You know, when I was 8 years old as a little girl, I was molested. And in that moment, my life changed, as you can just begin to imagine, and hopefully no one on this call has ever experienced the horrific things that I have. But I'm also walking, talking, living proof that you can rise above it, and that no matter what your circumstances, God will use it to the greater good. And He certainly took my story and turned it into something that I was then later blessed to go on to help literally well over 100,000 plus clients of my own, and God only knows how many other lives I've touched through social media. But from that moment, you know, inept to deal with what had been going on for me, I turned to food. Food was my drug of choice, and so I medicated to the point where very quickly I became a morbidly obese little girl. And that followed me all throughout my childhood and adolescence and early adulthood. And while today there's a big movement and campaign about anti-bullying, I can assure you that when I was a little girl, bullying was at an all-time high as well. It just wasn't as highly recognized as it is today. But through that bullying, it made a already bad and sad situation even worse. By the time I got to high school, I was a morbidly obese teenager, and within the first 10 weeks of high school, I was brutally beaten and raped. And I can tell you that through 3 months of rehab and all that went on at that point in my life, I hit bottom. I hit absolute bottom, as you can imagine, broken and damaged, but still had amazing parents that thankfully they went to their graves never knowing what had happened to me, because in my culture, being Cuban Italian, that whole aspect of your life and virginity is very sacred. And so I kept it all internalized, and I continued to act out with my drug of choice. And that followed me up until the pivotal moment, the day, as I stood there weighing 330 pounds. I already had all the textbook knowledge. I already completed nursing school. I had that. But it just goes to show that you can know what to do, but knowing what to do and doing the right thing are two very different things. And so as my mother choked on her own blood and died in front of me from congestive heart failure, her physician, who was also my doctor, leaned into me and said, "This is you in 5 years. Get it together," and he walked out. As I stood there in horror and in shock, as you can imagine, my mother coded and she died. And as she took her last breath, my mind was racing, but the thing that was most pivotal was that I didn't want to go out this way. And that I knew there had to be a way that I could once and for all lose the weight and never struggle again. By then I had done every magic potion, magic pill, magic cookie, magic menu, every promise, every infomercial, every piece of equipment that you can order and buy and put under your bed that never sees the light of day again, or the infamous treadmill that became my coat rack. I did it all. And so in that moment I thought, there has got to be a truth to this. I could not have been born to struggle this way. And in fact, it wasn't long after that I fell to my knees planning my own demise. I'd had enough. And unfortunately, I also knew too much, and I knew how to make it look pretty. I wanted to end my life, and I thought, shooting myself not an option. That's too messy. I don't want people to find me that way. And popping a bunch of pills is not option either, because that I'll throw up, and I'll be blue, and it'll be horrible for the person that comes in. And imagine the mindset I was in, that I was planning it so that I would be found looking like Snow White, sleeping peacefully. And it was in that moment that literally, and I don't impose my beliefs on anyone, but I am a Christian and live my life by the Lord, and I literally heard his voice echo in my head and said, "Get up. You were not built to break. I will use all of this for good," and snap out of it, basically. And in disbelief, and I thought, am I snapping? Am I cracking? Is this really God's voice in my head? Am I hearing this? I did. And I went underground for 3 weeks to write out a program that at the time I thought was for myself. Little did I know that it would become a sensation, and that I would have national and international success with it, and that the media would one day peg me from supersized to supermodel in less time than it takes to have a baby. Because in under 9 months, I went on to lose well over 135 pounds. And as impressive as that is, because it is, that was not easy. I did it eating real food, living real life, not living at the gym. But greater still, it is now 20 some odd years later, and I have maintained it. That's the victory. And through that 2-decade period of my life, I went on to help tens of thousands of people do the same. And it led to a lot of recognition. I have been on every major television show, every major network, every syndicated radio. I've done it nationally, internationally, gone before the Queen of England. I've done all those things, none of which matters. To me, it's like those are things I did all on the journey and in my purpose of helping the next person and doing the next best thing. Because I live my life today and have since retiring back in 2011, 2012, when I was done with all things Coach Carla after Oprah, and my first book came out. It was a pretty remarkable all-American story, but with that came tremendous moral responsibility for me in that how do I pay these countless blessings that what started as such a trauma turned out to be such a fairy tale for me. And so since that moment, I have lived every day of my life paying it forward, and I am a huge advocate for humanity, for people, for our military, and for pets. And those are my 3 passions in this life, and the first and foremost being wellness, because without your health, y'all, you have absolutely nothing. And when you consider the fact that at this point, our nation is in the worst state of health in the world, and yet we are the most advanced nation in the world. You know, statistically, over 68% of our population is overweight, with over 34% of that, so literally with half of that population being in the obese category. And it's not just that it's a compromised way of life, because it is. And unlike a lot of people and professionals that will stand and lecture and speak to wellness and weight loss, they still are missing that sensitivity chip, something that they can never possess because they've never stood in my 330-pound shoes. I know what it's like to struggle to get off a couch and have to anchor myself, or to not be able to cross my legs, or to be winded going up, 3 steps to my front door. I understand those agonies, but I also know that if you have the right mindset, you can flip that and you can switch it. And what I went on to do very successfully for all those years, I have said this many times, had I had the opportunity at hand and the products at hand that we have today, for all that I did, I believe with all my heart I would have done tenfold that. And the reason I feel so passionately about that is because being overweight is not okay. It's not. We have somewhat become a society accepting of it because it's such a big number that the readily visualization of it has just made it a norm. But it's not a norm because it takes every single year that you are morbidly obese, it takes 9 years off your lifespan. Like, let that resonate. And what's sadder still is not that it's cutting your life short, but that without question, the years are not quality and compromise, and certainly as you get older. And then when you factor in that the CDC did a study, and they've not done it since 2001, but in 2001, so they're due to do it again now this next year, for this year of 2016. But the last study showed that in over 9 million cases, the cardiovascular disease was as a direct result, not of heart disease, but of the food and the products we put into our body, because it's a combination of the two. And of course, as far as medical costs goes, back then it was well over $24 billion. Today that number is likely more than doubled. But the call purpose today is I want to debunk the myth of January 1. I know for myself, I can't even think back to how many New Year's resolutions I ever made, that this was the year I was going to get fit, I was going to get healthy, and I would fail. And I would join the gym. Sometimes I would join 3 gyms because I'd join one close to my home, and then I'd join one close to my work, and then I'd join another one somewhere where I traveled for work, because I thought in my mind that if I had access to all this stuff, and this is now, keep in mind, 20-some odd years ago, before you had, chains that are everywhere. But I wouldn't go to any of them. And what I also found was that on January 1, everybody makes these ridiculous, and they are ridiculous, and I can say that because I was her. Okay, so I am truly speaking from my heart. I judge no one. When I see someone overweight struggling, or for that matter struggling with any vice, be it alcohol or drugs, I don't see the obvious symptom. I see a very painful cause behind it. And if you can get to that root of the matter, that's when true change begins. But the truth is that come January 1, the infamous New Year resolution of believing that you've got to go out and buy some new spandex and yoga wear, hire a personal trainer, and join the gyms, that's not reality. If that's not who you genuinely are at your core, or that's not who you are right now at this stage in your walk, and whether this is speaking to you or I'm empowering you with information that you are now going to be able to go use with the rest of the tools I'm going to hand you at the end of this call, it's going to better equip you to really make an indent in this part of the universe that desperately needs it. So here's the truth. Rather than that, what if, let's start with the physical aspect of this, rather than taking on an exercise program, that if you've never been in that mode, I can promise you the success rate is less than 1% of anyone who just abruptly makes this decision on January 1 and embarks on that. Instead of exercise, forget exercise, just like forget dieting. I have been quoted thousands of times of, ditch the diet, I don't want to diet, I'm not going to diet, I've done every diet, forget it. This is not about dieting. This is about whole food, real food, wellness. Well, that's my attitude with exercise as well. Many of you that know me or have heard me speak in the past, I didn't like to sweat then. I'm not a fan of it today, but I understand that it's a necessary must for wellness. So what if instead of exercise, you embrace the following mindset, what I call the SSA? The SSA is fun, sweaty activity. What do you enjoy doing that will elevate your heart rate, that will cause you to sweat, whether it's dancing, like you're just losing your mind all by yourself in your house, or you can pick up a rebounder. Right now they're on sale, for $20, and you can just bounce up and down like a child, which is amazing for your lymphatic system. It'll get your heart rate up. What can you do that is a fun, sweaty activity? That because it's fun and because you enjoy it and it causes you to sweat, you're willing to commit to doing that. That is a realistic plan. It's not a goal. It's an actual plan. Now you've got the plan. You've got to work the plan. But if you embrace that, understand this, that fun, sweaty activity will improve your mood. It's going to boost your energy. It's going to help boost your sleep. And it's something that you're going to want to do, not something that you have to do. And this is a concept that even in the medical community and chiropractic and all allied health, more and more doctors and health professionals are seeing the benefits of realistic cardio. They're realizing that telling people you have to go walk or run for 30 minutes a day 3 times a week, it's not being embraced, period. Doesn't matter how many times they say it, the proof is in the numbers of where we are as a nation with overweight and obesity. But if you could embrace really paying attention to drinking good, clean water, first of all, it's very, very important. It's not about buying bottled water, and I don't even want to get into the whole plastic aspect of it, but you could buy just a good filtration system, even in a bottle, and just drink good, clean water, embrace fun, sweaty activity, and realistically start to pay attention to your nutrition. These are the forerunners of good health, and doctors will tell you that if you can embrace these things, it's vital to your lifestyle. Now, it's important that you understand that illness doesn't happen overnight, and we abuse our bodies for years eating the wrong foods, not exercising or moving at all, and then suddenly we find ourselves overweight or sick on medications, and we want the instant cure, the miracle product. There is no miracle product, but is there sound, amazing product that can care for your body in a supportive manner, providing your body what it needs to perform as best it can, helping your body respond quicker and more effectively to healing, rather than just masking the problem. That's huge, because for example, if you're just lacking energy and you consume, for example, a healthy energy product, which I'll share with you about, but you're not also getting the sleep that goes with it, then you're still masking the problem. It has to be a balance, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you about today that the old axiom that if you don't have time to take care of yourself and start to implement these things because you're so busy, if you don't do this now and start to experience this now, you won't be able to later because you literally will be incapacitated. And so that's hugely important to understand, which leads me to, if you're so busy, then you are going to be excited about the Life experience because it honestly is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Now, we established that it's a mindset. Weight loss truly starts in your mind, not on your plate. And you have to be excited about, hey, you know what? I'm going to make 2017 my year. And you know what? This makes sense. Carla, I can do fun, sweaty activity. And I absolutely don't have a lot of time, but I can do something that's simple, that's going to give me balance, not just in energy, in my sleep, in my nutrition, in my hydration. It's going to hit all the triggers that are fundamental and foundational to you having a truly healthy lifestyle. And so let's start with, the key thing, our customized nutrition of ID nutrition. The human body is hungry daily for specific nutrients. This is what people don't understand. Just like, your heart beats every single moment daily consistently. It doesn't decide to take tomorrow off and then resume the following day because you wouldn't have life. So does the rest of your body regarding nutrition. And just because it keeps functioning, it's compromised if it doesn't have everything it needs. So what's so simple about the ID nutrition is that it's going to give the body what it's hungry for, all those missing nutrients, that's going to help satisfy and continue you on your journey as you implement the simple steps of 1, 2, 3. Now, the ID Life experience is amazing because it's so simple. It takes no time at all, and yet it's going to hit on all the key points for you to lose weight, to truly embrace your health, and to truly, properly start living life realistically and not running out on some gimmick. So whether it's for yourself or when you're talking with someone, you can pretty much embrace the mindset of, look, this is not about dieting. This is not about getting crazy and, running off and joining gyms and hiring trainers. And that's all fantastic. And if you get to that point where that is something you really can embrace and stick with, by all means do it. As a first recourse, your first recourse absolutely needs to be what you're putting into your body. And so the ID Life experience of 1, 2, 3, the supplementation, the shake, hydration, and sleep, is so simple because it's going to do the following. The protein shake is a macronutrient, and what that means is that macronutrients build muscle. So oftentimes when the goal is to lose weight, they go on these crazy, ridiculous diets, and they are excited because the scale is starting to move, but what they don't realize is that they're depleting their body of key nutrients. What they're really losing is water, and they're losing lean muscle mass. They think, and you might think, that you're losing fat because the number is less. This isn't about the number on the scale. If you can, in fact, forget the scale and really just adopt simple steps of consuming a protein shake that's going to give you the macronutrients that you need, the calories and energies that your body requires to sustain the life that you're desiring, whether it's the health that you already have, you want to maintain it, or you really need to get serious about losing a few pounds or a lot, this is the ticket to it. The ID Life protein shake, whether it's the whey protein or the vegan, is amazing. Both and here's the deal, y'all. In 20-some odd years of a very high-profile public career, I have never promoted, endorsed, in any way recommended or suggested or sold wellness products ever. To this day, you can Google me page after page after page. I'm on Google. I have never, till now, and I came out of retirement to do this because I feel so strongly after I flew to Santa Barbara, met with Dr. Paul Sullivan, went through all this with a fine-tooth comb after my initial meeting, with Logan when he took me to dinner that night. It's amazing that I would step out to come out for the first time to do this in the manner that I'm doing it, were it not for the fact that it's that solid, that I've staked my own reputation on this, and the fact that I do this as a joy and to support my charities. By the grace of God, I'm in a position that this is not something I need to do. This is something I genuinely feel must be done because people need to know the importance of these products. And so when you start with the ID Life Shake, you wake up in the morning, no excuses. By the time your feet hit the ground, you should be drinking some water, throwing down your shake, and taking your customized vitamins that have been made specifically for you. For the guest on this call, get with the person that invited you on the call, because the assessment is something that is federally certified, confidential, that's based on who you are, what you do, how you live, what your choices are, and it narrows it down to clinical symptoms, your own complaints, your medications, and more. That's extremely powerful. And that health score of the 2 reports provided, the health score with the recommended dietary and lifestyle recommendations, is second to none because it's going to empower you to take control and take responsibility right now as you embark on this safe, sustainable path of simplicity. 1, 2, 3 with the ID Life experience. So you start your day with the shakes, you take your pills, and you're off and running literally. Then you follow that up with hydration. Hydration is key. Hydration affects so many things. It has your skin looking more aged. It beats afternoon fatigue. People don't realize that when you're dehydrated, it lends to varicose veins, to kidney stones, to hemorrhoids, to headaches, just to name a few. Dehydration is a serious, serious problem, and unfortunately the majority of the population of this country is dehydrated. And the reason that applies to weight loss is because you get that rumbling in your stomach and you think you've got hunger pangs, and that's your body crying out for hydration. So you eat because you think you're hungry, and so therein lies part of the problem, because the 2 key leading indicators of weight and obesity in this country are, in fact, dehydration and sleep deprivation. So you solve that. You're moving through your day. You start your day, your shake, your supplements. You drink your hydration throughout the day. And just a couple of bits of information. Understand that if you are even only 2% dehydrated, do you know that just being 2% dehydrated in your body will cause a 20% decline in your performance? Now, God forbid that you're even as much as maybe only 5% dehydrated. That will cause a 30% decline in performance. What does that really mean? Well, As you're going through your day, do you feel tired? Do you feel like you just don't have enough energy? You can't barely wait to go to bed, only to fall into bed because you're so exhausted and you're not sleeping properly, to wake up the next day and rinse and repeat. Well, that's a huge part of being dehydrated. And if you're by any means a higher percentage of dehydration there, then your symptoms are even worse whether you realize it or not. So that's really, really critical. And how amazing that you have the options that Hydrate comes in the 3 amazing flavors. Grape being my personal favorite, and I do believe probably this company's all-time bestseller. But my husband's a huge fan of the fruit punch and the mango. The fact that you can be drinking these throughout the day, only needing to do 1 a day at a minimum because it comes with your experience, but frankly, you're going to want to participate and partake of more because they're so good and they're healthy, good for you. And then ending your day, taking your supplements and going to bed, utilizing our sleep strip. Amazing. Being that it's like a Listerine breast mint, it just dissolves on your tongue. The cool thing about the sleep strip is that, first of all, it's all natural, like everything, naturally and organically derived, like everything in our product line. But more important, it's addressing the following, because if what I'm about to say rings true for you, then there's no question you need to try this. Because if you fall asleep any longer than 5 minutes after your head hits the pillow, your body is sleep deprived. You cannot heal from the day's stressors if you don't sleep properly. Lack of sleep can cause problems throughout your entire body, and for the ladies, it can seriously, and the gentlemen, affect reproductive systems. And over 70 million Americans are affected by chronic loss, and they're just on automatic performing day in and day out. There's more to life than that than this, y'all. And this is the beautiful solution of the ID Life experience of 1, 2, 3. So awakening in the morning, taking that shake, taking your pills, drinking Hydrate throughout the day, ending your day with your evening dose of your customized supplements, and getting some good sleep. If you pair that, y'all, with the following of incorporating some fun, sweaty activity, so you're getting that heart rate up, and it's something that you can stick to. If you make a point of truly being cognizant of what you're putting in your mouth, something that I'm very proud of and that I just adore Paul Sullivan. I mean, he is the heart of this operation. He is king in all things ID Life as far as I'm concerned, is that with tremendous scrutiny, every ingredient, everything about our product is non-genetically modified, and it's soy-free, casein-free, lactose-free, gluten-free. Only stevia sweetened where necessary. The best of the best. And that's not a marketing ploy. Even though that's what's in there, they didn't do it to be the best product so that they could be the best in the market. Paul Sullivan created this, and corporate took it to market because it's the best that anyone can do for their body. Putting people first, putting your health first, because here's the truth of it. And while I've been blessed with a lot of success in everything I've pretty much done as an adult, none of it means anything without your health, because my mom had it all, and that didn't stop her from dying right in front of me. She could have gone on to live an amazing life. I would have provided everything she could have ever wanted, as I've been doing even so. So without your health, doesn't matter how successful, how popular, how beautiful, how whatever you perceive yourself to be and that you may very well be. If you don't have your health, you've got nothing. So I want to end this with saying the following to you. And if you really are struggling with weight, Lord knows, PM me on Facebook, and I'm happy to chat with you and give you even more specific directives. But where every single person has to start, and the reality of what you want to take personally and professionally into this new year is that even as you start posting, y'all, stop. It's not so much about pushing weight loss on January. I would have the message be, are you ready to take control of your life sensibly and sustainably? Are you ready to lose unwanted fat once and for all, ditching the diet? Are you too busy and tired of gimmicks and gyms? What if I could show you a solution as simple as 1, 2, 3? What if you could see for yourself that you can do it, you can have success, and you have no risk? Because the only thing you're going to lose in your first month is pounds. Like, listen to the tone of what I'm saying. I would advise all of you, let that be your posting, because everyone else and every other company is going to be talking about weight loss challenges and this many pounds and that many pounds, and it's the same old story every year, which is why this is the most powerful industry in the world. We are different as a company. We have core values of people first. We put our health first. We understand the importance of that. And so my heart to you is that if as you go off this call, think about what I'm saying for yourself personally. First of all, what can you do to really up your own game, incorporating some activity, really being cognizant of your products, doing the experience. For the guests on this call, I I invite you to absolutely get with the person that invited you on this call. Have them show you everything I've just mentioned, the science behind this, the health assessment. Sample our products, y'all. There isn't a person on the planet that samples our products that doesn't love it. And when you can give Hydrate to a toddler, when you can give our products to an infant, if it's safe for them, how much safer is it for you? Be wary, as I always say, products that we've all bought at some point in time that say don't take if you're pregnant or nursing and don't take if you're under the age of 18, and yet we've all bought them and we've all taken them at some point in time without ever stepping back and going, how ludicrous is that? Well, with ID Life and ID Nutrition, it's age 12 and up. Hydrate can be given to an infant. The best of the best into your body. Start with your experience yourself. Make this the day that you decide, you know what? I've done everything else. I've tried everything else. I'm ready for a new experience. I'm ready for a new me. And this is my opportunity to do something that's as simple as 1, 2, 3. I risk nothing but losing weight. I risk nothing but gaining better health. And more important, in my doing so and being a walking, talking testimony of what can be done, the countless lives that you're going to be able to affect and share your stories with, be sure that whether you're the customer or the associate, that you're posting your stories, you're posting your takeaways from today's call. Post your excitement about the truth the diet industry doesn't want you to know, and it's this. The truth is, you don't need the diet industry. You don't need equipment. You don't need gyms. You don't need anything. You need to be cognizant of what you're putting into your mouth. Wellness is 80% of what you put in your mouth. The other 20% is your attitude and activity. And if you embrace wellness that way, if you go into this for yourselves and sharing with your customers that ID Life is the way, ID Life is the solution, you will, without question, make 2017 a game-changer year for yourself.
Well, Carla, that was absolutely amazing. So, I mean, everything that you hit, I mean, and it's so simple. The ID Life experience is basically just $7 a day, so easy. And bottom line for 2017, if we just decide, we just have to decide to put our health first. So thank you so much for being on the call.
My pleasure, Darlene. Thank you for having me, and I hope that somehow someone out there took something away from this and is ready to go out there and change their life and change the lives of all that cross their path.
This session is no longer being recorded.